Am I the only one who hears this all the time? It's a blessing to have children. Blessed are those who have their quiver full of them. I mean, that's all good and well. I don't have a problem with that. And then you have persons who will approach and say, look here, God said you should multiply and replenish the earth. Again, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with, though, is when persons come to me with the several inappropriate questions. And I've been asked several guys, you would never imagine. From when are you getting married? How come I don't see you with a boyfriend? Are you gay? Do you plan on having children? Why aren't you pregnant yet? Isn't your clock ticking kind of stuff? And I'm like, where do people get off? How do you muster up enough courage to go and ask someone these blatantly personal questions that are none of your business? How do you do it? But that's not the point. That's not the point of this video, because you do have persons who you love and care about who genuinely just want to check up on you because they might have heard you years ago talking about wanting to have kids, and they just want to check up where you are with that. Still not your business. But you know, some persons are genuinely just thoughtful and they don't mean any harm, even though sometimes they might harm you in their effort to be kind. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is episode 2 of Open Discussion. The question, why aren't you pregnant? Why don't you have kids yet? And I want to talk about this because sometimes persons, I don't think, realize that this can be mentally frustrating, because you don't know why someone has not had children or why someone has decided not to have children, and you don't even know if that was a personal choice or a choice that that person's body made for that person. So we have to be careful, and as a result I want to talk about it a little bit, share a few points. It would have been nice to have a few guests on, but persons who are currently going through this situation, persons who have some issues with their I don't even know how to say it, some organs. And look here, you just have medical reasons why several persons are unable to have children. And when you ask the question, why aren't you having a child yet? You've been married for a while, why aren't you getting pregnant? Give your husband a picnic, or you're saying give your wife a picnic. You don't understand the stress that you're putting persons through. Several persons who are brave enough to post their stories on the internet. Some they've posted it after they've overcome. Persons who are currently in the situation, persons who have hormonal problems, and so they're having issues getting pregnant. They are trying hard and it's frustrating, and when you put that added pressure on them, it even makes it harder for them to produce the children that they are trying to produce. You have young persons whose bodies are moving at a faster pace, and so you have different issues. Persons have fibroids, some persons have to remove their wombs. You have persons who are going through early menopause, and that is a serious issue. So when you're asking what you think is a simple question like, what happened to the babies? Why aren't you having babies? You're simply messing with someone mentally. The person might smile at you and walk off because they don't owe you anything. They don't have to answer that question. And I mean, how many persons are they going to pour their hearts out, this personal issue, to say, hey, I want to have kids, I can't. I'm trying to have kids, my body won't allow me to. I'm here questioning myself, I'm here questioning God. Why would God do this to me? Because He knows that I've always wanted to have kids. This is one thing I've been certain of all my life, and it's the one thing I can't even give my husband who loves me. It can be the man. He could have low sperm count. He could have gone through a surgery. He could have some illness that's preventing him from getting his wife pregnant. They may have checked. They may have found out that that's the issue. And when you ask that, no man, you're a big man. Give her a girl. Give her a little son. It's time. What you waiting on, man? You don't know what you're doing to someone, because that person is feeling like, whoa, I'm less than a man. I can't even get my wife pregnant. I can't get this woman I love a child, and even though she wants one, and that person feels less than, and that person has to leave you there and rest with him or herself to think about how insufficient he or she is. I mean, if you're going through that right now, I want to pause a moment. I'm no doctor, I'm no God, but I just want to pause a moment here to tell you that, look here, you are enough, you are sufficient, and I'm sure that you will get your breakthrough in whichever way possible. So just hold steady. Do not become too discouraged when persons raise these questions. Even persons who you love ask you these questions and you can't really answer. You sometimes feel bad, you feel a little bit ashamed. You don't have to be, and you don't have to answer anybody's questions and queries, but I know that your breakthrough is coming. And the second reason is that I have friends who are married and they don't have children yet. And I mean, I have been in the wrong. I have asked, so what happened? What you waiting on? But refer to what I just said before. I don't know what's happening with people. I don't know what's happening with persons biologically, and I don't know what's causing them to choose or opt not to have children, and it's none of my business anyway. But the truth is, when persons just get married, I'm no counselor, but when persons just get married, especially if you've never lived with a person before, this is the first time you're living with another person. Things that you once thought cute, oh my God, he's so cute, he's so sweet, he does this, she's so cute, she's so sweet, she does that, may start to annoy you. And it's just a matter of learning to exist, to coexist with someone else. It's different, it's hard. I've lived with my best friend. I mean, now I have that down pat. And I always suggest that if you plan on getting married, like, live with your best friend a little bit, somebody close to you a little bit, so that you can realize that it doesn't matter how much you love somebody, things can get on your nerve, and you just have to know that you care about the person more than you're affected by these issues, okay? But when you drop a child, I am haunted by buses and cars and things passing by, guys. I'm so sorry. So you've just gotten married and you feel the pressure. Persons are saying, I have to pause a little here, because you have persons who would opt, who will opt, who have opted, who've chosen to have kids right after marriage, and that's fine. They know what they're doing, they know how to make it work. But then you have those of us who legit have to wait, because a child changes the dynamics of a relationship. And I've spoken to several persons in relationships, whether married or not, who have children, and they will tell you that you have to push through, because especially when you've just gotten married and you never lived together before, you now have to realize that, hey, you have to share your time with that child. Your wife is no longer very accessible. Your husband might not be very much accessible. The time that you get to spend with each other shifts completely. And if you didn't get enough time to really build and understand each other, it can sometimes break. It sometimes can break a home, it can break a relationship, and that's a real issue that persons sometimes don't understand. So don't feel pressured into having a child right now if you've just gotten married, because if you want to wait, it is your decision and you owe no one an explanation. And then, guys, you have some of us who want to get pregnant. We just don't have anybody to get pregnant for. You do have persons who want to have kids and they just have not found anybody they deem compatible enough. They probably have just left a broken, a terrible relationship. They probably are just healing, and then you asking that can leave somebody questioning their worth. Like, why is it that I can't even find a man to get me pregnant? Why is it that I can't even find a woman who wants to bear my child? And you never know. So keep your questions at bay. Kind of keep them to yourself. If you're cool with someone in a particular light and they want to reveal certain things to you, then that's fine and that's good. But don't just ask your question as if it does not have certain implications. Music sweet. What you want me to do? Music sweet. And guys, financially speaking, do you guys even know how expensive babies are? Because I get it a lot, you know. And I throw my age out there. I throw my weight out there because really I don't see the big issue. So I'm 32. And each time I visit my mom, there's always somebody in the community to say, so when you're giving when you're giving Carol a granddaughter, when you're giving her a granny, when you're going to have a child? No, sir. And then you look around and most of your peers, persons you went to school with, primary school with, high school with, they already have children, and that's all well and good. Honestly, for me, I'll share my story. There was a point in my life where I was not the least bit interested in having children, and I was unapologetic about it. And then a few years ago, I was babysitting some kids and they were just too adorable. And one day I was just walking in the streets of Paris and I called my best friend and I'm like, I want to have kids. I do want to have kids. And yeah, that was it. And then 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I was like, I don't even know if I want to have a child. I used to be like, hey, I don't want to take a child. I want to bring a child into this world because, you know, the world is going all kind of ways and I really don't want to bring my child into this messed up place, you know. That was one of my reasons. And then I never wanted any other things that came with pregnancy. But no, it doesn't even have to do with any of those reasons. I mean, financially, it would be unwise for me to get pregnant. But apart from that, I really am at this place where I'm not sure I want to have kids. And I'm the only child for my mom. But she lived. I mean, she lived. My mom is still young enough to have more children if she wants. So that is not an issue. You know I love you, mommy. You know I love you, but that is true. So that's not an issue. Anyway, segue into the other point because I'm just here chatting. Financially speaking, can you afford a child? Because we tend to look at what we deem a success in person's lives, and that's fine. You have a job, you have a nice house, you might have a car, and persons look on and they're like, oh, you have a car, you have a house, you have a man, why don't you have children? But children are not cheap. Gone are the days when persons could just pop out a few, and I don't know what kind of miracles used to happen back in the day, and you had grandparents willing to help and all of that, but it's really expensive to raise a child. Talk about diapers, talk about what is it that they drink, formulas, talk about clothing, because kids grow so fast. I was talking to a friend of mine and she has a son and it's a baby, he's 2. Why does a baby's shoe cost $300? $3,000, sorry. $3,000, you must be kidding. $3,000. $3,000, no. $30 US, no sir. My shoes cost that amount of money because I'm gonna wear it for more than a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 if I'm lucky. But that child's gonna grow that out within weeks. So the clothing for babies are also expensive, right? If you do have a job, do remember that you have to pay for daycare. You have to pay for somebody to come and take care of your child. That too costs a lot. So persons are getting wiser. Persons are not just jumping up and say, boy, I want to have a child, and not thinking things through. Mark, if they get pregnant, fine, they'll carry the baby into the world. But trust me, you need to plan. Persons have to plan, and so don't pressure persons into just having a child, because the truth is, should they get pregnant right now, they can't come to you and say, can you buy me some diapers, can you get some formulas this month, my child needs to go to school, there's tuition, can you help me out? Would you help them out? Think about it. So don't ask people about that. They have their reasons. Okay, so that's it guys for episode 2 of open discussion. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have persons approached you to ask why it is that you haven't gotten pregnant yet? How does it make you feel? If you're open enough and you want to share your story, if you are going through some issues why you can't have a child, or if it's something financial, whatever it is, if you feel that you want to share your story with others, feel free to drop it down below. I do remember I was watching it's my Ray a YouTuber I tend to follow, and she is pregnant, and she, after a while, she was sharing her story and then she started crying. She was saying, hey, I've been married for 5 years. My husband and I have been trying for years to get pregnant, to the point where the husband a ball. I said, what happened? It's my problem. Like, why can't we get pregnant? She eventually got pregnant and they are rejoicing. But you have persons too. How could I forget to drop in, guys, that you do have persons who've gone through miscarriages? they have tried, they have gone through miscarriages, and they've been told that, hey, I don't know what the issue is, but it's like your baby's not developing past a certain term, and you keep asking them these questions, guys. No, we have to be more responsible in what we ask people, because I don't even want to imagine what this does to someone emotionally and mentally. And then you have some persons you probably never even knew about it. They got pregnant, they went all the way up to 9 months, and the baby did not come out alive. These are serious issues. These are mental health issues. So you don't want to keep picking at people, because the truth is sometimes you don't even know that you're picking at people. So that's why we have to be careful. We have to be careful in what we say to others. We have to think about things, think them through, think of all the possibilities. Yes, them said bike for me before we speak or thoughts. So that's it for today, guys. Leave a comment down below if you want to be a guest on open discussion. Hit me up, send me an email. The email is listed in this YouTube channel. Just go to about and then you'll see the email address there. Send me an email, join me, let's have a conversation about some topics, you know, because we need to talk, and the more we talk, you know, the more we can heal. And that is the essence of what this is about. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, grateful, and always motivated. Bye-bye.